that is hard to treat, but also recognizing that it's not just as simple as we once thought it would be, just, you die. People are living longer, and it's really, there's some complex living realities too, not just sad prognoses. What I'm going to ask, what's going to happen so you can know what's going to happen, is that I'm going to invite Chris, the executive director of Alpha, to come up and she's going to speak a little bit about what their organization does and how their organization helps our community, and by vocation of that, us, the church, so that we can in turn help them in their ministry. After she has done that, Donald and Mark are going to lead us in a litany of prayer about the HIV/AIDS virus. After that is over, you will be invited during the singing of time of prayer and reflection that Leo and Donald are going to do about Stand By Me, to come up to the altar, to place your offering there in the gold offering plate, and then to light a candle. I would ask that if you're going to write checks, please designate them for Alpha on the memo line so that we can appropriately designate that financially. Again, I will walk you through this so you're not alone, but I just wanted to give you an overview of how we're going to do this so you're not scared of what's next. So, Chris, would you please come forward? Thank you.
Good morning.
As Pastor Rob said, my name is Chris, and I'm the Executive Director of Alpha, and I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, are familiar with Alpha. Alpha is the local HIV/AIDS service organization. We've been around for more than 30 years, providing services to people who are living with HIV. Those services include housing assistance, emergency utility assistance, helping people get affordable medications and medical care, food pantry, personal item pantry. Pretty much it's an all-encompassing support system for people that are living with HIV. A lot of times our organization and the wonderful people that work with me are the only people that people with HIV come out to because they're so afraid of coming out to their family or friends. So it's a very special organization, and the people working there are very special too. We're with me today, Natasha and Tom. So make sure you say hi to them later. Another part of what Alpha does is we do prevention education and provide prevention services. So we go out in the community and do about 200 educational programs every year. So HIV/AIDS is not a disease that discriminates, but we do see more certain populations being affected more than others. And as you can imagine, they're more marginalized populations. So we've got the LGBTQ community, people living in poverty, homeless people, minorities, and folks that are injecting drugs. So we reach out to really the most marginalized people in our community for 9 counties. So as Pastor Rob was saying, this is a season of hope. HIV/AIDS is not what it used to be. We have miraculous medications that people can take and achieve what we would call undetectable viral loads, which means it's virtually impossible for them to transmit HIV to someone else, which this is amazing. This is a game changer. We also have medication that people can take daily that will prevent them from contracting HIV by up to 99%. So we really have the tools to end HIV and AIDS. But what we really need to work on, and what I need your help as a community and neighbors, is that we still face a lot of stigma and judgment for folks who not only have HIV but are at risk of HIV. And that's what's really holding us back from really getting to zero. So let me collect my thoughts here again. So in the South, people are more likely to contract HIV. North Carolina is 8th in the nation. And this is due to a lot of different factors, but some of them are poverty, lack of access to health care. We have an expanded Medicaid, so there's a lot of people that are uninsured. We have a lot of stigma, especially coming from religious institutions. I'm sure that's not true here, but it is, in our community that does exist. So what we'd like to ask you is that you work towards eliminating the stigma for HIV and for folks that are right now, probably our largest increase in clients is people that are inject drugs. And this puts them at a huge risk of contracting HIV among other terrible health conditions. So we're asking that you work on eliminating the stigma. Stigma is what's keep people from coming in and getting tested, from using preventative measures to prevent from contracting HIV. Once they know HIV, it can keep people, know that they're diagnosed with HIV, it can keep people from going to doctor's appointments or taking their medications because they don't want anyone to find out. And HIV is a very manageable disease right now. We're so fortunate in that. But the stigma is what's killing people. So I really ask all of you to support Alpha and our mission by standing up and speaking out when you hear of people that are being further marginalized. Just make sure that you know that by not standing up for that, that puts people more at risk of contracting HIV. So thank you all for having us here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, and also if anyone's interested in more information about Alpha or the crisis in our area, please come and talk to us afterwards.
Into this world, wisdom to our leaders, healing to our communities, passion to our heart. That we light our AIDS candle first to remember that the Holy One, Compassionate One, Spirit of the living God, divine source of all that is, burns brightly with us this night and all the days to come. As we light the candle for our world, we remember that we are all connected, that the borders cannot be seen from heavens, but that have been put there by us. We remember the millions around the world who do not have access to the many blessings of health care and medications that we have here. May this light illuminate the world, showing us all that we are all connected. Out on our next candle, we pray that the politicians, faith leaders, and all those in position of authority around the world, in our country, state, county, city, and faith communities, will continue to make decisions filled with the wisdom of the ages. May they not make decisions about our bodies, our lives, our actions, our sexualities from fear, but from knowledge, fact, and the wisdom of the Spirit, ensuring that we all have access to the healing treatments that we need and are free from barriers to which we need to heal.
This candle is for our community, one that burns brightly for healing, and most importantly, for healing from sadness and grief. May it light the way for us to actually celebrate our lives today, always keeping within us the memory of those who are not with us this day, and to remember to live and to live fully, to empower one another to make life-affirming choices, to light the way out of our closets and into our homes, To remember that healing is needed not just around our own bodies, but around the bodies and lives of others. Healing the oppressions that suffocate us, and healing from the fears of the other. And lastly, we light these last 2 candles to reignite the passion within our hearts. May this light bring us into a new day, living with HIV and AIDS, igniting a passion for truth and facts, a passion for embracing one another no matter our status, igniting our passion for living this day in all our fullness as individuals and as community. Blessings to all of us as we bring our light into this sacred space this morning in Advent of 2019. Will you pray with me? Almighty, ever-living, all-inclusive, all-affirming God, we ask that you touch the lives of those suffering from HIV and AIDS in this present time, knowing that they are your children, knowing that they are created in your image, that they are made of God's stuff, and that we, if we so choose, may behold the divinity of Christ in those that are HIV positive. May we reach out our hands and our arms to touch and embrace those with whom our Savior would not hesitate to touch and embrace. And may we, in that spirit, light the way for a new future, where instead of being afraid of each other, we stand by each other. Through the power and the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Leah, Gio, and Logan, you want to come up here and help again? Come on. We good for the water? Eternal God, when nothing existed in chaos, you swept across the dark waters and brought forth light. When we are scared, you are there for us, and you know us for who we are. So we remember this water as a symbol and seal of who you are and who we have the potential to be. You want to help me? This is another sign that God never, ever gives up on us. You know, here, grab your hands off. When someone dies, we start the church service by remembering their baptism. One of the ways the church has done that throughout the years is to have something like this, a bond, to remember that God doesn't even leave us when we die. God embraces us and takes us home. Even amidst the realities of AIDS and all of that, God never, ever gives up. So I'm going to invite you now, if you have someone who has died because of the HIV/AIDS virus or complications therein, to please name them either aloud or in your heart.
Lee Fry. Charlie.
Renee, Carol,
Darryl Reed. Marla Seals. Jerry Parker.
Dying, Christ destroyed our death. Rising, Christ restored our love. Christ will come again in glory. Here and now, friends, we are God's children. What we shall be has not yet been revealed, but when we see him, we will be like him. God is just persistent. He keeps prodding at us. He keeps hoping for us. So we remember all those names of those who have died and their blessed baptism. Amen. Now is your time to also publicly remember those people by giving to the special offering and also lighting a candle if you so wish. Orlando and I will be down here to pray on the other side if you'd like to pray with us, a member of the clergy, for that time.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see, will I won't be afraid? No, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Won't you stand by me? If the road that we walk on should tumble and fall, and the mountains they crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. Sing it with me now. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Won't you stand by me?
give God a hand clap of praise and worship. Stand if you will this morning, worship the Lord.